Mhm. So welcome everybody to this side event of the World Congress on Safety and Health at Work. Safety, health and well-being for the new normal. It's a Vision Zero initiative, and it is to promote the next Vision Zero summit, which is going to be held in Japan. My name is Bernd Treichel. I work for the International Social Security Association, ISA, and I am your host today. Vision Zero has taken a remarkable journey already since its launch at the last World Congress 4 years ago. And without further ado, I would like to introduce the first speaker for today's event, Mr. Tomio Alanko, who is going to give us a little introduction and a welcome message from his perspective. He is the chair of the Vision Zero Working Group of the Global Coalition on Occupational Safety and Health, and is the director of FIO, the Finnish Institute for Occupational Health. So, Mr. Tommy, maybe you can unmute your microphone, put on your camera, and hello, here you are.
Oh, hello. Right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to this official side event of the World Congress on Safety and Health at Work, presenting the Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022, redefining safety, health, and well-being for the new normal. My first welcome for all time zones is something that we all have heard more often in the last year and a half. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there have been several restrictions on travel and more virtual meetings where people from all over the world are participating on different time zones. This certainly brings out challenges, but maybe even more possibilities. The COVID-19 has forced us to take leaps in collaboration, operations, and technologies. It has shown how important safety and health is at the global scheme and how on a workplace level. Also, these virtual meetings and conferences open possibilities for participation and involvement for new groups of people that are limited when having physical meetings that require traveling. I do believe that the Vision Zero Summit in Japan will set a great example how we can and will collaborate when meeting in virtual environments. This Vision Zero Summit is organized in collaboration with the task group on Vision Zero at the enterprise level, which is a part of the Global Coalition for Occupational Safety and Health at Work. The coalition is a multi-stakeholder partnership aiming at generating strategies and practical solutions for common occupational safety and health challenges. The quality on task groups are a way for partners to work together and propose practical responses for issues related to safety and health at work. The aim of the task group on Vision Zero at the enterprise level is to introduce Vision Zero concept globally to enterprises and other organizations and actors through promoting an exchange of existing experiences and new solutions. Task group provides discussion forums and practical materials to support communication and implementation of Vision Zero at different levels. And the main event of the task group is the Vision Zero is the series of international Vision Zero summits. The idea of Vision Zero Summit is to discuss different perspectives of Vision Zero, to share best practices and lessons learned, and to innovate collaborative actions to the next level. It is a forum for policymakers, business leaders, and us experts to come together, share experiences, hear latest research findings, and provide new ideas and perspectives, as well as strengthen professional networks. The first Vision Zero Summit was held in 2019 in Finland with a theme Strategy, Mindset, Practice. The summit was a success, having 200 participants from 30 different countries, and one of the highlights of the summit in Helsinki was the launch of 10 new Global Coalition for Occupational Safety and Health. This second Vision Zero Summit will be organized in 2022 in Japan with a theme redefining safety, health and well-being for the new normal. And it will take a proactive approach to address many relevant issues, challenges and possibilities. One of the aims is to present the Vision Zero concept globally to enterprises and to hear about and support the implementation of many forms of Vision Zero activities. This side event will present many interesting sessions that will be in the next Vision Zero Summit. So without further delay, I again welcome you all to this very interesting event on presenting the Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022, redefining safety, health and well-being for the new normal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tomio Alanko. Thank you for this very to-the-point introduction and highlighting the importance of the Vision Zero Summits and its history. Vision Zero has come a long way, I mentioned that, and before we move to our next guest, Professor Masao Mukai-Dono, I just wanted to share with you the latest figures. Because we have over 10,600 companies who have signed up for Vision Zero. We have over 3,600 partners who have signed up, and we have over 1,300 trainers. So it is actually quite a solid base. And yeah, just so that you know that Vision Zero is really alive and kicking, and we all look forward to the next Vision Zero Summit. So Professor Masao Mukai-Dono is the chairman of the Japan Organizing Committee for the Vision Zero Summit, and is also the chairman of the Institute of Global Safety Promotion. And I would just like to give the floor to him. I think he is not present, but we will now listen to a video.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for each your country, according to your countries. My name is Masao Mukai-Dono. I'm chairman of the Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022. The main title of this summit will be Redefining Safety, Health, and well-being for the new normal. As a side event of this World Congress, I'd like to talk invitation to Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022. As you know, Vision Zero has three objects: target, safety, health, well-being. Vision Zero was evolved from zero-accident vision. Zero-accident vision was mainly object to safety. In other hand, 1973 in Japan, zero-accident campaign was initiated. This was the origin of the Vision Zero-accident vision and Vision Zero. A traditional concept of occupational safety and health. Safety means no physical harm, health means no physical illness or sickness, and well-being sometimes means psychological problem, no psychological problem, and no mental problem. But Vision Zero expands this concept to proactive. In Vision Zero, safety means freedom. Safety means freedom from risk which is not tolerant. Accept the risk and be free to seek the benefit with unseen. Unseen is a Japanese word. It's difficult to translate in English. Sometimes means peace of mind. Health means soundness of mind and body. And well-being, the more big, wide, expanded, that is physical, mental, and social wellness. And furthermore, satisfaction, happiness, willingness. The concept near to the unseen, as told before. This is the photograph of the first Vision Zero Summit in Finland 2 years ago. This is the program of the second Vision Zero Summit in Japan. This is a broadcast. This is broadcast and live on the web. And after that, if you restart, you can see later in video on demand. There are 16 sessions Each session have about 20 presentations, very interesting topics. In this side events, after here, you can see short message from each chairman for that session. I have to say why holding Vision Zero Summit in Japan. There are many reasons. The first one is, as told before, Zero Accident campaign was the origin of Vision Zero, that is, homecoming of Vision Zero. The second reason is a new safety technology, Safety 2.0, a new concept of safety, collaboration safety, was transmitted from Japan. And Vision Zero is promoted from such technology aspect. The third is, currently in Japan, there are many examples in wide range of fields where people and machine work together. That is, collaboration safety is beginning to be introduced in Japan. And finally, in traditional value, in Japanese traditional value, we have an interesting concept, unseen, as told before, sometimes feeling of error or relief, translated in English. And unseen was very close to the concept safety, health, and well-being. And unseen is very familiar at present in Japanese people. That is, back in ancient Japan, we had culture close to the concept of safety, health, and well-being. So now is the age of new normal. So it's a good time to discuss safety, health, and well-being on occupational safety and health. I believe which these new values for next societies. Please attend Vision Zero Summit Japan to do and enjoy the attractive discussion. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yes, thank you, Professor Mukaidono. Professor Mukaidono has mentioned a couple of important points. First of all, the program for the Vision Zero Summit is really comprehensive, with leaders in international occupation safety and health. There are many sessions, and it will definitely be a very interesting program. And also the importance why Vision Zero should come to Japan. New concepts for safety, part of the origin of Vision Zero can be found in Japan. And then also this concept of Anshin, which I believe is translated as well-being. So after Professor Mukaidono, we have now the next speaker, Mr. Chihiro Fujita. Excuse me if I didn't pronounce it correctly, but Mr. Fujita is the director and member of the board of the Institute of Global Safety Promotion and vice chairman of the Vision Zero Summit Organizing Committee. So let's just listen to what he has to say.
Thank you so much for your inspiring greeting, Dr. Tomi Alanko and Professor Dr. Masao Mukaidono. I am Toshihiro Fujita, a representative of Asia District for Global Coalition for Safety and Health at Work, task group on Vision Zero at the enterprise level. I'm also the director of the Institute of Global Safety Promotion in Japan, which takes an honor to jointly host Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022 as the Japanese organizing committee with the Global Coalition. I'd like to share with you a little about the outline and the structure of the upcoming Vision Zero Summit Japan on May 11 to 13. The summit theme is, as shown here in the title, Redefining Safety, Health, and Well-being for the New Normal. This is a conference of prestige and quality, full of intellectual uniqueness, which provide you an extensive and high-quality program to discuss and find solutions to the present-day occupational safety health OSH challenges. The summit starts at 3 p.m. Japanese Standard Time and will feature 16 parallel sessions over 3 days with 5 to 6 sessions each day. Over 150 splendid speakers will give around 15-minute presentation on their own experiences and expertise under the theme set by session chairs. And you can expect keynote speech by the prominent speakers and special sessions of note. We are planning to close the summit with the Tokyo Declaration. On the last day of the summit, as shown in the blue color of this chart. The summit will take a proactive approach to addressing many exciting topics, ranging from the practical implementation of Vision Zero at the company level to safer global supply chains and fostering OSH professionals and business leaders through education. Forefront topics like leading Vision Zero indicators, robotics, and collaborative safety to AI, ICT, mobility, and digitalization will be discussed. Actual implementation of companies would be introduced from the economic sectors such as manufacturing, construction, and agriculture. And the recent topics of interest, hygiene, health, and COVID-19 would be also noteworthy. Hot topics like well-being, human factors, and SDGs are the field growing attention are received recent years. We have more practical topics like international standardization and national Vision Zero strategy and programs, and much more. On the next section, 16 session chairs from renowned international organizations and businesses will give you exciting insight into their topical summit sessions. Members of Global Coalition for Safety, Health at Work and members of Session Chairs Committee are welcoming you joining this event. We are looking forward to seeing you at the Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022 in May. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fujita. Now, let's just move straight to the next speaker, Mr. Takashi Kawata, who has quite extensive experience in the Shimizu Corporation, one of the major construction companies in Japan. And so the topic is now Vision Zero for the construction, engineering, and occupational safety and health.
Good day, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity. I am Takashi Kawata from Shimizu Corporation, also Director of ISA, and will be the chair of Session K, which is Construction Engineering and Occupational Safety and Health. Today, I will give an overview about my session during the Vision Zero Summit 2022. Dr. Peter Kynes from Denmark will be the sub-chair of Session K. The theme of this session will be achieving well-being leads to both productivity and safety. First, I would like to explain the overall theme of this session. In the construction industry, there is a need to improve productivity within the set construction period and to provide customers with high quality construction work at reasonable cost. On the other hand, improving well-being, which has recently been the focus of much attention, is said to lead to increased productivity. In this session, we would like to exchange opinions on productivity and safety, including the aspect of improving well-being against the background of global trends surrounding the construction industry. The three main points of this theme are as follows. First, eliminating serious occupational accidents by analyzing the trend of fatal accidents in all industry and construction industry worldwide. Second, rapid progress in digital transformation technology and improvements in productivity and safety. Third, understanding and implementing the SDGs and promoting the realization of well-being. Additionally, I'd like to set a joint declaration this session. This slide shows the overall tentative program of Session K, which will be held on 11 May, starting from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Central European Time. This is the detail for all 40 speakers for Session K. The speakers come from 9 different countries, and their background ranges from director and officer, from government, agency, researchers, and managers from other international consultants and contractors. This is an overview of first session K speaker will be coming from. They are from 4 continents, which 6 from Europe, 1 from the USA, 1 from Africa, 6 from Asia, where 4 will be from Japan. Moving on, I will explain the first main points or theme of this session. I'd like to deepen our understanding of the actual occurrence of serious accidents in the construction industry worldwide. According to the ILO statistics, 2.78 million workers die every year in all industries. In the EU, for example, occupational deaths in the construction industry account for about 20% of all industry deaths. I believe these numbers vary from country to country. So I'd like to gather information from each speaker about the trend and characteristics. After reaffirming these realities, I'd like to share information on the efforts being made by countries to reduce occupational accidents in the construction industry. This is an example from Japan showing the statistics of occupational fatalities since 1970. The blue line shows the number of fatalities in all industries. The red line shows the number of fatalities in the construction industry. And the green bar chart shows the number of fatalities in tunnel construction, which I have been involved for more than 30 years. In 2020, there were 802 fatalities in all industries and 258 fatalities in the construction industry, accounting for more than 30% of the total. In addition, the number of fatalities in the first 30 years has decreased to about 1/3, and for 2009 to 2017, it shows very gradual or no decrease in trend. But the trend for 2017 to 2020 shows slight decrease. In Japan, the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism has been implementing construction for the past 5 years to improve the productivity of the construction industry and create safe and attractive construction sites, and has achieved steady results. At the Takimura Tunnel site of Shimizu Corporation, we have introduced the Safety 2.0 technology, which is a collaborative safety system based on construction, and have been tried to be implemented it at the site, which has also produced positive results. It is essential to prevent accidents by adopting the latest technology such as ICT and AI, and to educate and raise the safety awareness of the workers. In this session, we hope to exchange opinions on the application of digital transformation in the field of construction safety, which is being promoted in various countries, and the different that should be taken. Lastly, please take a look at this photo. This picture was taken during the TBM breakthrough ceremony at the site in Malaysia, where I was a project manager. As you can see, everyone has a big smile on their face, having completed their work. The staff and the workers shared the joy of the TBM breakthrough together. There may be individual differences, but I believe that each person felt well-being in these work situations. It is an unforgettable memory for me as well. I hope that many people involved in the construction industry will cooperate with each other to create safe and healthy workplaces and accumulate experiences of well-being with smiles. Let's do our best together. Thank you for your attention.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kawata. This is indeed a very, very interesting and great presentation. And it's interesting to talk about construction, Safety 2.0. And because we're running a little bit out of time already, I would like to move on to our next guest, Mr. Yoshi Kiseo, who is actually an expert in artificial intelligence, ICT, and digitalization. So this links clearly to the Safety 2.0 discussion in the construction. And just to briefly introduce you, you're a highly decorated researcher who has been working on the development of supercomputers and also on big data processing. And now you're the director of the Information Standardization Office of the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology. So, Mr. Seo, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'll share the screen. Okay. Sure. Okay, do you see the slides?
No, don't see the slides yet. You have to press the green share screen button.
Yeah, I shared, but yet. Sorry about that. Where? Oh. Sorry about that.
Do you want that I put directly?
Oh, sorry. I think the.
Maybe we can put it directly and you just say
Okay.
next.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you.
It's coming, don't worry.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Can I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the topic of the session G is AI, ICT, and digitalization. The overview of the session that the artificial intelligence equipped in the digital transformation is becoming the key game changer for almost all businesses. We will see AI components everywhere around us in the near future. And the working environment is no exception. AI will change our working environment everywhere. We will see many robots controlled by AI will work together closely with us. AI is thought to be improve worker safety, health, and well-being. However, nobody knows at this moment how to manage AI-equipped solutions, and the quality management technologies for AI software is still very premature. In this session, difficulty to manage AI quality and how we can overcome the problems and how AI can improve the working environment will be discussed. The session objectives are as follows. Firstly, we expect the participants learn how AI will affect the working environment regarding the safety, health, and well-being. Then the participants learn the current status of the AI systems management and what is needed to make the AI systems dependable. And we will discuss how AI can contribute to make the Vision Zero concept for real. Lastly, we will discuss how we can make it possible for workers to work together safely with the automated systems, including robots controlled by AI. The sub-chairs of the session are Takashi Egawa and Yutaka Oyua of both from the AIST. Egawa-san is the specialist of the AI management standardization and the ISO IEC JTC1 SC42 AI. Yutaka Oyua is the research leader of AIST in AI and the software quality management. As illustrated here, in the AI, ICT, and digitalization world, many automated systems such as the drones, robots, all controlled by AI are closely working together with workers. These systems will share the same location with workers, or they will manipulate the same object with human. Furthermore, they may have to hand some parts to workers. Those should be carried out without the harming workers. And the AI will also be used to enhance worker safety and well-being, such like in the left-hand side, AI will be used for anomaly detection with the surveillance cameras. In order to realize the Vision Zero concept in the AI ICT digitalization world, technologies to manage AI ICT technologies to make the working places safer are very crucial. Also, making the Vision Zero concept for real, the automated machines and workers will have to share some rules to avoid risks in 100%. For this, the standardization for stakeholders to work together is also very important. Okay, the AI systems are implemented in the form of software. But the AI system, typically those in the using the recent machine learning technologies, especially for deep learning technologies, are developed in the following process. The process is very similar to the humans learning process. Firstly, business requirement of the functionality of the system is defined. Then the training data will be developed. The data have to include all the patterns of the decision making to adapt to the circumstances defined in the requirement previously defined. Here, the data coverage is very important. For example, when the AI is used for the automated driving systems, the circumstances, what kind of the road, what kind of the environment should be used for that the automated driving. Everything should be defined in the previous way. And also all the data to handle those decisions should be gathered for the training data. So machine learning technologies such as deep learning will generate. Then as the AI model, it's like the brain. And then that AI model will be applied to the real data. Here, the business, because the development process is very similar to the human learning process, the deep learning models and the very black box. Managing the AI system quality is very difficult. The AI system, the dependability situation at this moment is something like the stones in this figure, like a very fragile, and the how we can define the well-defined functionalities or safety, security, how we can handle, and how we can avoid the risks, and how we can ensure the completeness of the training data, whatever. And the session, to summarize the session, is the first, the AI quality management will be discussed. It's like an explainable AI, how we can explain in the human world the behavior of the AI, or AI model quality evaluation, how we can evaluate the quality, or data quality management. And then the safety management for the AI-human coexistence. So the dependable robotics and the collaborative safety, both will be discussed. Then the AI, how we can use the AI to facilitate the safer working environment. So the leading edge practices on the anomaly detection using the surveillance cameras or risk avoidances, those will be discussed mainly by the industries speakers. And lastly, the standardization efforts and the AI trustworthiness and the AI management guidelines. How if someone is developing the AI modules and then that module is used by the user vendors, like for example, then that's the component will be used for automated driving. Then in that cases, how both vendors, both parties can agree on its quality or something. So here, the standardization process or rules, everything's very, very important. So we'd like to discuss that. And the country, still it's very tentative, but I hear the speakers of from the standardization organizations or research, the top of the research communities of the AI or robotics specialists or vision AI vision handling the technologies, and then or those are from the industries, the executives or AI research leaders mainly from the Japanese industries. And maybe I think the discussion here will help how we can use the AI or digitalization to make the Vision Zero concept for real. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Seo, for this very interesting presentation. I'm sure this is going to be one of the driving sessions of the Vision Zero Summit, because AI has already entered safety and health. Japan is definitely a leader and a very progressive think tank for everything related to AI and safety and health. So I look forward to this session indeed. Thank you. Our next speaker is the chairman of the ISA Vision Zero Steering Committee, Mr. Helmut Ehners. He has extensive experience in safety and health at work. I think it's over 35 years. And he is also one of the conceptual developers of the Vision Zero concept and its methodology. So he will talk to us about what exactly? Mr. Helmut, what are you going to tell us today?
Of course, I will speak about Vision Zero. That's a dream. Yes, thank you very much, Bernd. I'm proud to be part of this event. And good morning, everybody. Good afternoon from Germany. For me, it's a dream comes true that the whole world is constantly speaking about the Vision Zero strategy and is further developing it. And more we will speak with one voice. I would like to take the opportunity to invite all of you first to the technical session number 5 tomorrow at the World Congress, because this is about Vision Zero as well. And today my topic is to introduce you to the new metrics that is offered by the Vision Zero strategy and to measure the performance and to manage it. So let me share my screen, and I hope it works. You can see it, I guess.
It's
so
coming.
I will give you a brief introduction to the proactive leading indicators for Vision Zero. And I would like to start with talking a little bit about where we are. We have this Vision Zero strategy for safety, health, and well-being launched. And for me, it's beyond a compliance strategy. It is a prevention culture strategy. And this is the nice photo from the big conference room 4 years ago in Singapore, where everything started. And one remarkable thing is that, of course, we will have robots, we will have artificial intelligence, but we will have human beings as well at workplaces. And this is the challenge, and Vision Zero is human-made. So I think all of you are aware that we have developed the 7 golden rules, and technology is, of course, one essential element, but people is others. And meanwhile, we have a toolbox for the Vision Zero to implement it. And I only can briefly mention some of our tools. We have a Vision Zero training, and we have more than 1,300 trainers who committed and signed up to Vision Zero. And we have the Vision Zero guide, our essential document to do the first self-assessment in the 7 golden rules. And now we have the proactive leading indicators, because we had the idea that we need something beside the lagging, the traditional metrics, and we need a new approach based on the 7 golden rules and focusing on the 3 dimensions of safety, health, and well-being. Traditionally, we use the accident figures, illness figures, absence time, and so on. These are the back-looking measures and metrics, and it's more a reactive concept. So we said we need a new approach, and I would like to briefly explain what we mean by leading indicators. I guess everybody knows this model of the Swiss cheese, and we teach that we have a hazard and we have a harm if hole by hole cannot be filled up or closed. So the holes represent the lagging indicators which create a harm or an illness. And the leading indicators, of course, they are the rest of this cheese slides. If our barriers work right, then we can prevent the harm or the illness and we can avoid it. So these are the leading indicators. And of course, we don't want to replace the lagging indicators, but we want to use both in the future. We want to use proactive leading indicators beside the lagging indicators in order to optimize our measures. So we have to count the number of trainings, maintenance activities, and these leading indicators, they reflect activities to improve the performance, and these are proactive measures. And we found out that many companies already use some of these leading indicators, but there is not a comprehensive set available so far. So we developed it in the Vision Zero approach. We had 4 researchers in our project team. We have heard already about Pete Kynes, who is also involved in the Vision Zero Summit in Japan next year, but we had also Professor Zwetslot, Professor Leka Stavrula, and Dr. Aditya Jain. And they developed our set of leading indicators, and the leading indicators are indicators to enhance organizational commitment for Vision Zero. They help to develop a culture, a proactive prevention culture. They stimulate prevention right from the start of any development process and activity. They manage the process of inter-organizational learning, facilitate the process from planning to implementation, and learn from experiences in safety to improve health and well-being as well. So we could set up such a global system for safety, health, and well-being benchmarking. We started the activity with a literature study and found more than 100 leading indicators already mentioned in different places and research activities. So we had to select the right leading indicators, and these are our criteria. We said we need proactive indicators. They must have a relevance for each of the 3 aspects: safety, health, and well-being. They have to be relatively easy to measure. We required an evidence, scientific evidence on their effectiveness, and they should create potential for synergy. So this was our concept to select the Vision Zero leading indicators, and now we published this guideline for the proactive leading indicators, which is already available in many languages on the visionsero.global website. And today I can only mention the leading indicators we want to use in the future. We have 14 leading indicators, 2 for any golden rule. We start from leadership activities, also visible leadership, or what do we invest in training, in further training of our leading competences. Then the second is for risk management, and it's for workplace and job instruction for golden rule number 3. Then for golden rule number 4, we count briefings we do, we measure the planning and the organization of work. Number 5 is innovation and change and procurement. And then people, again, initial training of workers, refresher training, and then involving the workforce, all the human beings at the workplaces, by asking them for their ideas, their suggestions, and recognize them and reward them. So for any of these 14 leading indicators, we have one for fact sheet. So you find in our document 14 fact sheets, and the fact sheets describe on one page the aims of this leading indicator, the key concept, the good practice behind, the limitations if there are any, and then we offer measures, how to measure it, 3 options, how to measure it, and give an example how to show it in a graphical way. In this document, you will also find 3 options how companies can introduce and use the leading indicators. Option 1 is just an easy one, a yes or no checklist. I think this is a good start for small and medium companies also to come on board of this new metrics. Option 2 is to do an estimation of the frequency, and the most advanced measure and option is to really measure, to really count the activities and to compare it with the aims you set. Finally, you can show the results for safety, health, and well-being either individually in such a spider graph or in a combined graph where you can show the performance, and from time of measurement to the next time you can also see the improvement you made. So this is my very brief introduction to the new matrix of Vision Zero, and if there are any questions, I'm available. You can ask the questions right now or next year in the Vision Zero Summit in Japan, or you contact me directly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Helmut, for this introduction of the leading indicators. I would like to now just give the floor, hand it over to Hans-Horst Konkoleski, who is also a great promoter and also one of the key persons in Vision Zero, because as ISA Secretary General, he has actually lifted this campaign to an international level. The next round, Mr. Konkoleski, is now for you to moderate. So floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bernd, and it's indeed a pleasure to be with you all today, the day before the big event, the World Congress starts. So yes, I have the pleasure and honor to introduce the next group of session chairs, and I will start with myself. So as said, my name is Hans-Horst Konkoleski. I'm representing at this event the International ORP Foundation, where I'm president. I'm also a Global Vision Zero ambassador. So it's a special pleasure, of course, to be with you all today. So let me share my screen in order to give an insight into, let me see, just a second. Here we go. So the session that I would like to introduce first is the one that is 11A. And here we talk about the real core of what the Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022 is all about, which is the implementation of Vision Zero in enterprises. So this session is really focusing on experiences from enterprises. We talk about from vision to reality, because as it was mentioned already, Vision Zero is a strategy, it's a journey, And so it will be exciting to hear what companies are going to share with us. Which are the scope and objectives of our session? Well, the first is, of course, to highlight that health and sustainability have become top priorities for businesses across the globe. Mr. Treichel, he has just presented the latest figures, and we heard that more than 10,000 companies have already joined the Vision Zero campaign and signed up as Vision Zero companies. And altogether, there are more than 15,000 supporters. So this illustrates that the Vision Zero campaign and the focus on health, on all aspects of health, safety, health, well-being, really has become important for businesses. There are other reasons for that. There's a recognition of that investing in occupational safety and health is actually good for business. There are also customer demands and other aspects that also drive this. For example, investors are increasingly demanding companies to demonstrate their performance in health and sustainability. For example, the ESG rating has become critical for attracting more investments. But also, of course, the Sustainable Development Goals and the United Nations Agenda for 2030, where businesses also have to contribute. All of these have pushed the agenda. And lately, of course, the pandemic that has shown how important health and people's health is for businesses, and the demands that we also can see on the workplace, but also the increased consciousness about what we are able to do in prevention to avoid, for example, the spread of pandemics like the current one. So not only is there a raising awareness, but there's actually also a process to integrating safety, health, and well-being as part of the organizational culture. Mr. Enes has mentioned that the idea is actually to achieve a culture where safety, health, and well-being of people come first. And therefore, this is, of course, interesting to see how this is actually implemented. And therefore, I'm very pleased, and I will present now the senior OSH managers from renowned international enterprises that will share their insights and not the least their practical experiences from their individual Vision Zero journey, because Vision Zero is an individual journey. Each company, each country, each region has to find its way based on a common mindset and philosophy, but everybody has to develop it in their own occupational and organizational setting. So what we have identified on that journey as critical elements on that journey, when I say we, it's the International ORP Foundation and the Global and Danish Vision Zero Business Councils that have been set up also as a consequence of the ESA's Vision Zero campaign, and where we have discussed already at many meetings these journeys and what are the critical success factors. So what we will discuss at our session is firstly a corporate mindset where people come first. So this is also what was mentioned with the golden rule number one, where leadership actually is actively involved and takes a lead in developing that culture. Secondly, we talk about that it's not only about classically safety, but also health and increasingly well-being. Also what we heard before, the history of Vision Zero, starting with the Zero Accident campaign in Japan as early in the 1973. And now we're enlarging this concept, and how is this done in practice? And then we need to build a prevention culture that really includes everybody in the organization, not just the management and the safety and health professionals, but everybody at the workplace has to be part of that. Otherwise, we cannot build a culture. And then very importantly, it's not just about the company itself, it's also about the partners. It's also about maybe a company has activities in different countries, that this is something, that this is a mindset and a concept and a culture that affects everybody, includes everybody, also suppliers and partners. And finally, we have the digitalization trend. We heard already a lot about this. There are several sessions that will address it, but it's important to see how can we utilize digitalization for prevention. So the first topic we have, where we talk about the mindset where people come first, we will have three speakers representing three well-known companies. We have Mr. Malcolm Staves, who is a Group Health and Safety Director at L'Oréal in France. We have Mr. Alberto Schiavon, who is the Group Safety Manager at Pirelli in Italy. And we have Ivan Puentes Arango, who is Group Health and Safety Manager at GEB Colombia, Grupo Energía Bogotá. And they will share their approach to have a transformational process as regards the prevention culture at work, where they gradually include different aspects, both within the company, but also related to community and the surroundings. The second topic is both safety, health, and well-being. And here we have two speakers. Franco Dutto is a Senior Vice President for Human Resources, Compliance, and Sustainability at Tsubaki Nakashima, a Japanese company. He himself is based in Italy, and he's also Vice Chair of our session. Then we're very pleased to have Noazlina Midin, who is Head of Health, Safety and Environment at Change and Communications Group at Petronas in Malaysia, and will share their approach to, in particular, to promote also the well-being of people in the organization. The third topic is about building an inclusive prevention culture. Here we have three cases, two from Denmark. Ruth Kjelsmark, she is HSEQ Manager at Babcock Wilcox Willon in Denmark. We have Josep Maria Verdejo, who is Director of Occupational Safety and Health Management System at Suez in Spain. And finally, Thomas Tarp, who is Senior Director for Global Health and Safety of the Lego Group of Denmark. And they will explain how they work with building an inclusive prevention culture in their organization, which are international companies. So it'll be interesting to hear how they also achieve this across the borders of Denmark and Spain. Then we have, very importantly, Vision Zero for safer supply chains. And here we have from Tesco, Christopher Venables, or Chris Venables, who is the Group Safety Director. And we have from a Russian company in the oil and gas sector, Zarubezhnev, we have Elena Kompasenko, who is Chief of the OSH Department and for Sustainability at JSC Zarubezhnev, and she is also Vice Chair of this session. And they will share with us how from a retailer and how from a big oil company, how they deal with these issues. What Christoph, of course, will talk about the inclusion of their suppliers and their customers, while Elena will talk about, in particular, their partners, their suppliers and subcontractors, how they have integrated them in their Vision Zero strategy. And finally, we have a very exciting topic about digitalization and how to engage it in favor of prevention so it can support prevention activities. And there we're very pleased to have Lars Hoffmann, who is head of EHS Expert Center at Siemens, Germany. And we have Juan Manuel Cruz, who is the Director General of Labor Relations, Risk Prevention, Sustainability at Acciona, who is the third Vice Chair of this session. And we have Mr. Takashi Kawata, Standing Advisor at Shimizu. Mr. Kawata has just been speaking already, and they will all share how they're in their companies, which have very different focus, how they are using and developing the different aspects of digitalization in favor of safety, health, and well-being at work. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, just this message, we look forward to see you at the Vision Zero Summit, Japan 2022. And in particular, of course, we hope that you find our session 11A on the 11th of May interesting, and look forward to seeing you there. So with this, I will now go back to my function as moderator. And it's my great pleasure to now introduce the next session, which is about the important topic of well-being, and in combination with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations for 2030. And it will also include aspects such as ESG, which I mentioned. The chair of this session is Dr. Manal Aziz, who is a senior occupational safety and health expert at the International Labour Organization, or better known as the ILO, and she is based in Geneva, Switzerland. The vice chair is Mr. Sadao Takeda, who is director of the Institute of Global Safety Promotion, the IGSAP, which is one of the key members of the Japan Organizing Committee. And he will now introduce the objectives and the program of that exciting session. So, Mr. Takeda, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Konkorevsky. Good morning and good evening, everyone. I'm Sadao Takeda, Director of the IGSAP Japan. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Yep. Just a moment. I hope it's going well.
It's perfect.
Okay, just a moment. Or just a moment. Just a moment. I would like to start the slideshow.
Yes,
Okay, good.
Now you need, yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you. I have the role of the co-chair of the session N on well-being and SDGs as introduced by Mr. Konkorevsky. On behalf of Dr. Manalazi, the chair of the session of this, the chair of the session N, I'd like to introduce the concept and the program of the session. This sheet shows the outline of the session well-being and SDGs. It will be held on the second day of the summit, Vision Zero Summit in Japan. Dr. Manalazi, as introduced by Mr. Konkorevsky, she's very, very active and has been organizing and chairing many events on OSH, such as the ILO's World Safety and Health Day being held every year on April 28th. And she is very active and well-known person in this arena, and probably many of you know her very well. And speakers of this session are 14 opinion leaders and experts around the world. Later, I will introduce them in detail. They come from academia, from industries, as well as public entities to discuss well-being and SDGs and introduce their opinions and experience. The SDGs is nowadays a common goal for industries and government, as well as for people, from business people to younger generations around the world. Well-being at work has also rapidly attracted attention in the social activities and also business activities, including various media. However, especially in the world of occupational health and safety, as the concept of well-being has been introduced relatively recently, its scope and approach have various varieties depending on the positions and the experiences. In this session, we'd like to ask people from various positions to show their considerations and hear listen to variable experience from leading companies. Well, this session is focusing on well-being, which is one of the 3 targets of the Vision Zero. However, as I mentioned, well-being has a very diversified scope. Sometimes it considers as health itself. Sometimes it is regarded as mental health. I think in generally in OSH people, many people consider the well-being is mental health or health itself. In some cases, it also includes the safe and secure. And in addition, considering workers' mind and motivations, it can be interpreted as working satisfactions. In the psychological world, especially in positive psychology, well-being is regarded as a flourish well-being. Here, sustainability or continuation is a very key issue. Sometimes it has the meaning of welfare. We have no intention to unify such a difference. We would like to recognize and accept such diversified situations. However, we would like to have some common understandings. Probably Many people know the WHO constitutions, health is states of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, which means the well-being is considered as physically and mentally and socially good states. And also, we will discuss well-being at work can be considered at the personal level and at organizational level, as well as at societal level. It is our common understanding to start our discussions. Recently, well-being is recognized as an important target of business management. Many companies, not a few companies, are promoting these kind of activities. Number of companies with chief well-being officers, CWO, is increasing. And in order to find their well-being status of the employees, various investigations are conducted in many countries, many companies. Healthcare management is now a popular movement around the world. In Japan, work style reform has been one of the key policies of the government. Of course, Vision Zero campaign, Vision Zero activities support such tendencies. In this session, on the subject of business strategy and well-being, leading professors from Japan and the United Kingdom will give lectures, and in addition, many global companies will introduce their advanced cases on well-being management. Another theme of this session is SDGs. Vision Zero activities related to safety, health, well-being at work directly contribute to SDGs, especially Goal 8 for decent work and Goal 3 for good health and well-being. It's very clear. In addition to it, we'd like to consider SDGs 6 not only realize these 17 goals, but also well-being and freedom for all. As a background for higher concept, SDGs 6 to strengthen universal peace in larger freedom. No one will be left behind, and well-being for all lives. It is an opinion by the Mr. Tase, an opinion leader of the SDGs in Japan, who will be a lecturer, speakers in these sessions. We believe Vision Zero pursue the same goals as SDGs. Well, I would like to introduce our lecturers in these sessions. Firstly, from academia. Professor Maeno from Keio University, Japan, is a top scientist on well-being in Japan, and has engaged in many activities with industries on well-being and management. From United Kingdom also, two very active professors, Professor Nielsen from University of Sheffield and Professor Lecker from University of Nottingham will join. And Mr. Tase, as I mentioned, so much specialized in SDGs field. From business, these global companies will join and expose their advanced cases for well-being and SDGs. Mr. Delbecq from L'Oréal, Ms. El Salant from Novo Nordisk, Denmark, Ms. Soniksen from Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies, Ms. Virtanen from Metso Autotech, Finland, and Mr. Kobayashi from Rakuten, Japan. Rakuten is the big and leading internet-related service provider in Japan. And Mr. Kobayashi is the CWO, Chief Wellbeing Officer of Rakuten. Furthermore, from business entities and public entities, Mr. Tornvik is the organizer of the Vision Zero Council in Denmark, and Dr. Ito comes from NEDO Japan. NEDO is a national organization for innovation promotion and the largest R&D funding organizations. NEDO recently issued the policy paper on innovation related to well-being. And Mr. Asano from Social Health Strategy Institute has newly started to develop a new international standard in ISO on well-being management guideline. In addition, we will receive a lecture from WHO, World Health Organization, on their activities on SDGs and well-being, and 2 more speakers from Japanese industries. This is the draft program of our session on well-being and SDGs. I believe it is very attractive, exciting, and contributable for your activities. Please join us. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Takeda, for this attractive presentation of your session. And no doubt the issue of well-being is at the forefront in our societies, also with the pandemic, but also the SDGs, because we have to do an extra effort, give an extra effort, because the pandemic also has been negative for many countries in their development towards the goal. So therefore, a very interesting session. We look forward to it, and thank you very much for this nice overview. The next session that I would like to present is the one on making global supply chains safer. And my pleasure is to introduce Mr. Oket Dupper, who is the Global Program Manager of the Vision Zero Fund at the International Labour Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. And just a few words about the fund. It was launched in 2015, and it's an initiative of the group of 7 countries, the so-called G7, and is aimed at preventing work-related death, injuries, and diseases in sectors operating in or aspiring to join global supply chains. So with this, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Oket Dupper.
Good day. My name is Oket Dupper, and I'm the Global Program Manager of the Vision Zero, an initiative established by the G7, endorsed by the G20, and administered by the International Labour Organization, the ILO. The Vision Zero Fund is very pleased to be a co-sponsor of the Vision Zero Summit in Japan next year, just as we were of the inaugural summit that took place in Helsinki, Finland in 2019. Dear friends, each morning, somewhere in the world, 1,000 people leave home for work and don't come back. And another 6,000 people die daily from diseases contracted as a result of exposure to risk factors arising from work activity. These are the people who make our clothes, grow the beans for our coffee, construct the buildings in which we live and work. They need safe, healthy workplaces and deserve our shared commitment to improving health and safety up and down global supply chains. The Vision Zero Fund mobilizes governments, employers, workers, and other stakeholders to make real measurable improvements in worker health and safety where they are needed most. Working at all levels of the supply chain, from factories and fields to governments and global enterprises, the fund strategically targets sectors and regions where it believes it can make a positive difference. The summit session for which we are responsible next year, namely session B, Making Global Supply Chains Safer, will be dedicated to a discussion of Vision Zero Fund's efforts to improve the safety and health of workers in global supply chains. It will highlight good practices and achievements, but importantly, also identify endemic challenges that will require the collective action of all stakeholders, including multinational enterprises and safety and health practitioners, to address. During our session, you will hear directly from our teams on the ground in the 8 countries in which we are active. You will also hear directly from our partners and those who benefit most directly from our work, namely governments, employers, workers and their representatives, and from multinational enterprises with whom we collaborate at both the global and the country levels. Our mandate is clear: to eliminate severe or fatal work-related accidents, injuries, and diseases in global supply chains. Why the focus on global supply chains? Because while we know that global supply chains can be a positive force for change, it has, for example, provided millions of jobs, lifted millions of people out of poverty, contributed to economic development. We also know that they can impact negatively on the living and working conditions and the safety and health of workers in developing countries. In the fund, we recognize that the challenge of safety and health in global supply chains is multifaceted and too big, too complex for one stakeholder to solve on its own. All stakeholders, including global buyers, need to work together and assume responsibility for addressing systemic issues that lie at the root of poor occupational safety and health outcomes. We are fortunate. As part of the ILO, we can use its convening power to mobilize a variety of partners to act collectively to solve the most persistent occupational safety and health challenges in global supply chains. Without sounding immodest, I believe we have made significant strides to improve the lives of workers in our project countries. We estimate that 5.6 million workers and their families have benefited from our work during the past 5 years. We have started to see evidence of the impact of our work at workplace level. For instance, reduced accidents in pilot factories and agricultural workplaces, improvements in the handling and storage of hazardous chemicals, increased awareness and use of safety equipment, and establishment of effective safety and health committees with worker participation, to name a few. However, we also know that these gains will not be sustained unless legal and policy frameworks and national institutions, the relevant national safety and health institutions in these countries, are strengthened. That is why we help countries to bring their laws in line with international labor standards, improve their national occupational safety and health systems, strengthen the capacity of the labor inspectorate, and improve social protection systems, in particular employment injury insurance schemes. During our session, we will present the evidence of our impact at country level, but also highlight how we use the data, the evidence that we gather at the country level and at the sectoral level to inform global conversations. While we have achieved a lot during the past 5 years, there is a lot more to do. Please join us on May the 11th next year to learn more about what works and what does not work to make global supply chains safer and healthier, and how you can join our efforts. To learn more, please visit our website at the link on the screen, which this website contains the information of all our work at global and country level, and has an extensive library of publications and tools that we've developed over the years. In closing, thank you again to the organizers for giving the Vision Zero Fund the opportunity to be part of this very exciting event. And we hope to see you all in Japan next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruppert. It was a very interesting presentation. And with globalization, supply chains become more important than ever. And to secure safety, health, and well-being throughout these chains, the Vision Zero mindset throughout these chains is really critical for the success of our strategy. So we look very much forward to this exciting session in next year in May. So with this, I go to the last of my group of sessions, and this is one about future business leaders. achieving healthier performance. And the chair of this session is Mr. Alan Stevens, who is the head of strategic engagement at the Institution for Occupational Safety and Health, better known as IOSH. And today, the session will be presented by one of his colleagues, Ms. Mariana Zivkovic-Mtega, who is the Strategic Engagement Manager at IOSH. And it's my great pleasure to give you the floor.
Dear World Congress participants, dear colleagues, dear friends, it gives me much pleasure to invite you on behalf of the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health, IOSH, to join us at the Vision Zero Japan Summit from 11th to 13th May 2022, where IOSH will be participating in various events throughout the summit, including being a host to a panel session stream on the 12th of May. The title of the session stream that will be chaired by Alan Stevens, Head of Strategic Engagement at IOSH, is Future Business Leaders Achieving Healthier Performance and Productivity. This panel session will discuss the core competencies required to deliver excellent OSH performance in work settings and will showcase examples of how outstanding OSH leadership and management practices have been driven through corporate DNA. We will address this topic in 4 engaging one-hour sessions with senior speakers from international bodies, corporate organizations, OSH bodies, and many more distinguished participants. What we will endeavor to do in the opening session, entitled Driving OSH Through Corporate Governance and Sustainability Principles and How Do We Influence the Boardroom, is to provide insights into a multi-stakeholder approach in influencing corporate boards in committing to good corporate governance and sustainability principles. In this session, we will hear from senior speakers from the United Nations Global Compact, from International Corporate Governance Network, IOSH, and many more. The second session will discuss a business case for OSH leadership, arguing for a healthy profit as a way to achieving a responsible, sustainable corporate success. Among other things, looking also at the importance of reporting metrics on OSH. On the panel will be senior representatives of global corporates, asset management firms, and national institutes of safety and personnel management. In the third session, we will look at the role of management and leadership moving towards Vision Zero in the supply chains. This is obviously a very important topic for many businesses and organizations and OSH professionals. In this panel, we will hear from senior experts from the WHO, ILO, a Commonwealth Businesswomen's Network, where we will also briefly explore the gender perspective of this topic. And we will also look into the effects on the social security from a specific country angle. In the final session, we will look at the role, we will try to bring the previous sessions into a very practical focal point and discuss what can be done collectively to help advance the core competencies required to deliver excellent OSH performance in all work settings, especially in hard-to-reach working settings along the supply chains. This is also a key message that IOSH as an organization wishes to emphasize, that no one can thrive unless we're all safe. And it is a moral imperative collectively to strive towards a safe and healthier world of work for all. I invite you to join us and to attend the discussions, to ask questions and be inspired to raise the bar for OSH wherever people work. Thank you, and see you all virtually at the Vision Zero Summit Japan in May 2022.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zivkovic, for this overview of an exciting session, because in order to really spread the Vision Zero culture, we need also to spread it to the investment community, to everybody involved in business development, and of course, to the business leaders themselves. as rule number 1 in our 7 golden rules said, Yo predicts, and therefore I'm sure that this session will be met with great interest by the international audience. And with this, I hand over the baton to my good colleague, Renee Leblanc, in order to present the next speakers. And Renee, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Konkolowski. It's a great pleasure to be here this morning to present. And let me introduce myself. My name is Renee Leblanc. I work for GHD. It's an engineering firm based in Australia, but with 10,000 employees worldwide. I'm also the past president of IOA, the International Occupational Hygiene Association. And I'm currently sitting on the committee at Vision Zero at enterprise level. I'm very pleased to be here this morning and to present the session I'll be chairing. So let me share my screen. So I'll be the chair of the session M, Health, Hygiene, and COVID-19. As was presented by Mr. Kawata earlier today, we saw some worldwide statistics about some fatality, and we can see that for year 2020, there was about 2.5 million COVID fatality. And of course, this is terrible, and all my sympathy to all people impacted by this terrible pandemic. But meanwhile, every year, we have an increasing number of people dying from occupational safety and health. We have about 1.8 million people dying from that. That's about 1.5 million of illnesses and 0.3 million of accidents, such as fall and confined space and other accidents. But definitely the number of illnesses is definitely too high, and which brings me to talk about the work we're doing in occupational hygiene. We have year after year 1.5 million tuberculosis fatality as well worldwide, mostly in less developed countries. And meanwhile, we have 1.35 million car accident fatality, which of course we hear a lot every day compared to other aspects that are probably as important. Not to mention, of course, millions and millions of injured workers and work-related illnesses. And with COVID-19, we could see an increasing concern about mental health and ergonomic new challenges. So all these fatalities cannot occur without getting lessons learned. And we need to understand and find ways that we can improve occupational safety and health and overall well-being from these lessons. We could see that overall there's been a very significant increase in worldwide consciousness. I would say that COVID-19 had this specific impact that it really opened mind of people protecting themselves and to see how everybody has a role to play in the protection of others. So we could see definitely an increased awareness of employers, employees, and even citizens. Everybody could really get a greater involvement and greater understanding on the importance of protecting themselves. We could see definitely a greater concern and a greater understanding of respiratory protection, which is definitely very important for large amount of occupational disease like asbestosis and silicosis. But in the case of COVID-19, all these respiratory protection requirements become greater concern, and people now we can apply much of the lessons learned from these protection to other types of protection. So we definitely saw COVID-19 opening minds. We could see, as I mentioned earlier, the impact that everyone has on each other. And this is new concept that we could not say that we had such an awareness before. So there has to be an international vision, there has to be international collaboration, and that's why Vision Zero approach is required. So without any further, I will present you the amazing guests I invited to speak at this session. We will have some representative from the World Health Organization, Mrs. Maria Neira, who is director of the Department of Environment, and Mr. Ivan Ivanov, who is the team leader of the WHO Global Occupational Health Program. As we all know, the WHO has played a tremendous role in the management of the pandemics and providing instruction and information and guidance on how to work, and especially for healthcare worker, but every countries and population. So the WHO will be one of our speakers, as well as the ILO, the International Labor Organization. Will have Mr. Joaquim Pintado Nunes, who is the Labor Inspection and Occupational Safety and Health Branch Director, the Lab Admin OSH of the Governance and Tripartism Department. So it will be a great pleasure to welcome Mr. Nunes. We will have Mr. Juka Takala, who doesn't need much presentation. He's such a worldwide renowned speaker. He's the current president of ICO within other responsibility. So Mr. Takala will tell us the role of occupational healthcare practitioner, and it will be a great pleasure to listen to his talk. We invited Mr. Ricciardi, who's the president of the World Federation of Public Health Association, WFPHA. We could see how important the role of the public health authorities in each country played as part of this pandemic. We are, I would say that the public health department was a little known. We knew a little bit about the role they played, but the response that they provided in each country to address such a pandemic was tremendous, and it will be a great pleasure to listen to his talk. I've invited some of my colleagues from the International Occupational Hygiene Association, Miss Andrea Edinga, who was the 2018 president, and Mr. Jakes Jacob, who is the 2019 president. The importance of occupational hygiene was definitely shown as part of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the expertise that occupational hygienist has in respiratory protection, in occupational exposure, in preventative measure, in site controls, and all the different expertise that multitask can provided by the occupational hygienist was really shown as part of the pandemic. But as I mentioned earlier, we have a greater role as well to play because of all the fatality we still encounter and the illnesses from work illnesses. So it will be a great pleasure to listen to my colleagues from the Iowa. We've invited Mr. Do Young Park, who's the president of, I think, past president of the Asian Network of Occupational Hygiene, the ANO. The ANO is a tremendous association that was created by a few leaders, including Mr. Park. And the Asian Network is very active and a great example that could be and should be followed worldwide. How every country can contribute and collaborate with other countries to increase their level of awareness and their training, and how they can increase occupational safety and health in their workplaces. So it will be a great pleasure to listen to Dr. Park. I've invited Audrey Tang, who's the digital minister of the Taiwan government. Mrs. Tang played a tremendous role in the management of COVID-19 by implementing some traceability and some digital tools to be able to respond quickly to the COVID-19. So it will be an amazing pleasure to listen to Mrs. Tang. We will have Norman Koza from the African Union Development Agency, New Economic Partnership for Africa's Department, the ODA NIPAD. It will be a great pleasure to listen to Mr. Koza, who will be speaking on the Voice of Africa to understand better their concern and priorities. We will have Professor Ming Zhang, who is Deputy Director of the Department of Environmental and Occupational Health School of Population Medicine and Public Health from the Chinese Academy of Medical Science. Mrs. Zhang played a tremendous role in the response of COVID-19 in China. She works also at Peking Union Medical College. So it will be a great pleasure to listen to Mrs. Zhang. We will have Rachel Cox. Will talk to us with respect to psychological risk, which we saw, and as we explained, there are increasing requirements and really increasing concern, especially with people having less interpersonal relation working from home. So Mrs. Cox works at the Montreal Université du Québec in Montreal. She's one of my colleagues in Canada, Quebec. We will have the pleasure to welcome Michelle Robertson, who's from the fellow of the International Ergonomic Association. So the International Ergonomic Association also play an important role, especially now where people working from home, they have to set up new work environment, work confined, work setup, but not just from this work at home. There's also so much and so important ergonomic requirements from anyone working on field or in industry. And finally, we will have the pleasure to welcome Chris Lars Davis, who's the Vice President of the OHTA Association. So OHTA is an international association that provides free training for anybody who would like to increase their knowledge on occupational hygiene. So it will be a great pleasure to welcome and listen to Mrs. Davis. So as we can see, we will have a tremendous and great session where we have very important and renowned people who will present at this session. So I'm now the moderator of this session. So it will be my great pleasure to introduce you to our next speaker. So without any further, let's introduce you to Mr. Tomio Tenikawa. Dr. Tomio Tenikawa is director of the Industrial CPS Research Center of the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology, AIST, where he is involved in project management and research to improve labor productivity through collaborative work between humans and machines. He has a background in spatial robotization, housing using such system, and urban social design. Nowadays, under the ideas of CPS, he is interested in how to safely perform more intimate interaction between humans and robots. He is also working on standardizations, activities related to IT in housing. So please welcome Mr. Tenikawa.
I am Tomio Tenikawa from AIST. My research field in robotics. In particular, we have recently been working on integrated system design and that combine AI, robotics, and IoT technologies in a cyber-physical system. My session will cover topics related to safety for workers in automated driving and AGVs. Check here for an overview. With the advancement of AI technologies, expectation of automated driving has been growing. Human recognition technology is not only being used for automated driving in automobile, but also available for AGVs in factories as well. The result, the use of autonomous mobile robot is expected to advance in a variety of fields. In this session, we would like to introduce the technology for moving mobile robots and technologies to ensure safety when introducing such technologies and practical applications. I would like to explain the social context that I am tasked with in planning the session. It is the decline of the working age population. In Japan, it is feared that the number will decrease to 75.92 million in 2015, 67.73 million in 2030, and 44.18 million in 2060. That's 58% decrease from the population in 2015. The global population will also decrease significantly from 2030. Decline in the working age population leads to a decline in productive capacity. In particular, the impact on labor-intensive industries is very significant. Typical industries are the production and logistic fields. In the production fields, the automatic production line has superior to the fixed production process. Today, the production field is shifting from mass production to variable volume production. As a result, conventional automated production line are not able to provide production capacity commensurate with the capital investment. Currently, many production sites have shifted to a human-centered production process in order to accommodate flexible production. In logistics field, the need for logistics is very high due to online sales as represented by e-commerce. A wide variety of items are delivered, including even a single pencil. The sorting and packing of these diverse items cannot be handled without human labor. The figure on the left illustrates the situation just described. In mass production, automated lines have been very effective. On the other hand, it is very difficult to change the process. Manual labor is more effective than automated technologies such as robots, in a wide variety of tasks, such as assembly. However, with fewer workers, it becomes more difficult to maintain productivity. In the logistic field, it is possible for robots to handle standardized items such as cardboard. However, manual labor is required for picking and packing of individual items. In order to maintain high productivity with fewer workers, it is necessary to consider a system of coordination between man and machine, as shown in the figure on the right side. In addition, flexible production line are required utilizing AGV and other equipment rather than fixed production line such as conveyor belts. In field of logistics, it is also necessary to introduce automation mechanism that utilize AI and robot technologies. To realize such a system, we believe that new technological developments are needed. For example, cooperative control of humans, robots, sensing technology for humans and the environment, cooperative safety technology. With the above background, I would like to summarize the objectives of this session. The session objectives towards the creation of a new system to automate various tasks and improve labor productivity in the production and logistics field. In this session, we would like to introduce, discuss, and the following topics from the speakers, especially related to automated driving and AGVs. For example, environmental recognition technology in autonomous mobility, and as human recognition and behavior prediction technology for safety and smooth interaction with humans. The concept of safety when humans and machines work in the same space. Introduction of the current situation in production and logistics side. Thank you for your attention.
Sorry, my microphone was turned off for his presentation. So thank you very much, Dr. Tenikawa, for your presentation. Our next speaker is Reiko Ojo. So Mrs. Ojo is a senior researcher of the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health in Japan, GNIOSH. The first year of work at GNIOSH, she was working on behavioral toxicologists using animals and chemicals. She is currently in the Mechanical System Safety Research Group, and as a principal investigator, she is engaged in behavioral analytics intervention research for assessing the effectiveness of safety control system from the worker's perspective and for proper work behavior. Please welcome Mrs. Reiko Ojo.
Hello, my name is Reiko Ojo, Senior Researcher, Institute of Occupational Safety and Health Japan, JNIOSH. I will introduce Session Q in Vision Zero Summit Japan. It will held 11 to 30 May 2022. Okay, topic of session Q is human factors. And it was held for better, safer, happier lives and higher well-being at work. Session overview is human factors about safety, health, and happiness will be discussed. In addition, not only these three factors, but also well-being at work would be the topic of this session. In this session, 6 authorities of human factors would give talk. Outline of the session. A principle of human behavior from a research field called behavior analysis, and some examples of experiment using the principle would be introduced. Also, specialists of human factors at National Institute of France and Finland will introduce research outcomes such as technologies in the transport and the logistics sector and human-focused work practices in nuclear maintenance operations from human side. Then, a chief consultant from venerable Danish consultant company in work environment and management will introduce proactive reading indicator, PLI, reading to worker well-being. In addition, a researcher having a background in human geography and cultural anthropology will show results from explored the field of social housing relocation project, peri-urban disasters management, water governance, and volumetric urbanism. Our common focus and goal are better, safer, happier lives, and higher well-being of human at work. In the future, it will be necessary not only to prevent accident and ensure safety, but also to change social systems to directions toward happiness and welfare through a positive cycle such as rewards, not punishment. For that reason, research on human factors will become important in the future. Objective of the session Q is to learn that safety in the future will need to understand human behavior, including human error. To seek the possibility of most efficient working style for achieve common goal. And to have a common understanding of human factors for well-being. Okay, I am a chair. Name is Reiko Ojo, and I will introduce experimental outcomes of workers' well-being using procedure in behavior analysis. And the sub-chair is Professor Dr. Christophe Baudelaire. He is the authority of behavior-based safety as well, and he will present a principle of human behavior from a research field. Here is the other presenters. Dr. Lynn Wyoland had studied Institute National de Research at the Security. And Dr. Anna Maria Teperi, she's a research professor in Finnish Institute of Occupational Health. And Ms. Pernille Tau, she's department manager in Human House in Denmark. And the last one is Dr. Marilu Melo, lecturer at the University of New South Wales, Australia. Okay, here is the presentation data date. It will be 12 May 2022. Session is 2B. And the session will be held 12 p.m. to 1:30. Okay. And see you in session Q of Vision Zero Summit Japan in May 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ojo. We're really looking forward to attend to your presentation. Our next speaker is Dr. Yoshihiro Nakabo. Dr. Nakabo is a leader of the Dependable System Research Team at the Industrial CPS Research Center of the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology, AIST, where he is engaged in research and development on the safety and human collaborative robots, service robots, and nursing care robots. He is also actively involved in standardization activities, serving as a convener of ISO TC299WJ7 and as a vice chair of the Research and Study Committee on AI Performance Standard for Service Robots in the Robot Innovation W Work Group of the Robot Revolution and Industrial IoT Initiative, RRI. It's a great pleasure. Now back to you, Dr. Nakabo.
Thank you very much for your interest in Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022. My name is Yoshihiro Nakabo from AIST. I'm working on robot safety and its standardization. I would like to introduce my session F on robotics collaborative safety. This chart shows the past and future population trends in Japan. Japanese population has already passed its peak, and as a result of the decline in the birth rate, the productive population will continue to decline for several decades in the future, while the ratio of the elderly will continue to increase. This is likely to occur in Asian countries, Europe, and other US. Although the extent and speed of this trend may vary, but there will be wide range of labor shortages in all over the world. In this context, robots that can coexist with humans could be a solution to this problem. However, in order for such robots to become widespread, their safety needs to be guaranteed. In other words, we need to think anew about the safety of new robots that coexist with humans. This is a well-known general principle of the way to ensure the safety of machineries given in ISO IEC standards and guides. The interesting point in this diagram is that robots need to be designed and manufactured to be safe. And also the users need to be aware of the residual risks when they use such robots. However, this will not be so easy in the development and usage of newly developing human collaborative robots. That means the design, development, and safe use of human-robot collaboration will require much more researches and discussions. Let me give you an example. The basic way to ensure safety of industrial robots was to isolate them from workers with fences. However, it is now possible to detect the position and movements of people using a variety of sensors and maybe AI. I believe it is important to consider such possibilities of using emerging technologies for safety. This is also just an example of a model of human-machine collaboration by considering how people perceive and behave with machines and also facing to hazards. We may be able to make machines behave more intelligently and safely coexistence with humans by using such models. We hope to have a broad and deep discussion about such kind of new concept in this session. The detail of the session and the speakers are still tentative, but we are expecting speakers from a wide range of industries, manufacturers and users of industrial robots, service robots, and safety equipments, as well as from public research institutes, universities, and people from international standardization. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our session F. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nakabo. It will be very interesting to attend your presentation. Our next speaker is Dr. Shoken Shimizu. Dr. Shimizu is working as a chief researcher at National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health Japan, JNIOSH. He is also occupational safety consultant in machinery and holds Class 1 health officer's license. He specializes in mechanical system safety. He has a doctorate degree in engineering. Please welcome Dr. Shimizu.
Hello, my name is Shoken Shimizu. I'm in charge of Session J of the Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022. Topic of Session J, titled Health and Safety Activities in Manufacturing Site. Session Overview. In Session J, safety, health and well-being activities in manufacturing site will be discussed. In the present work site, not only productivity and safety, but also well-being of workers in main topic of the world. In this session, specialists and practitioners of safety and health management at work world give a wonderful talk. Outline of the session. This session will introduce example of Vision Zero activities and health and safety activity in workplace in various countries, aiming to reduce occupational accident and disease and their risk factor in manufacturing site. Session objective. Number 1, campaigns and institutions that are promoting the Zero Accident Forum campaign and the Vision Zero activities. Number 2, campaign and institutions that have acquired ISO 45001/JIS-Q 45100 as health and safety management system for their workplace and are working to maintain and improve OSHW environment. Number 3, campaigns and institutions that are implementing advanced initiatives to realize Industry 4.0 robotics and collaborative safety/safety 2.0 by introducing new digitalization technologies to modernize the current OSH environment. Okay, introduce myself. I'm chair of this session. My name is Shoken Shimizu. Now, I'm director of Construction Safety Research Group in National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health Japan, Yoshi. I am a researcher in the field of mechanical safety. I feel the mainstream of safety at work heads to the direction of beyond safety. That is well-being of workers. I think that CEO and manager level have to consider well-being to workers as a responsibility of company. To that, and I believe it is important to share information on various safety and health initiatives to different companies. Here, I show invited speakers in Session J. Session J will be held at second day, 30th of May 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's now time for me to introduce the next moderator, Mr. Tommy Alanko. Tommy, floor is yours.
Thank you, Renee. And I will be your moderator for the rest of the session today. It is my pleasure to introduce the first speaker in my moderation, my colleague, Ms. Riikka Ruotsala. She works as a researcher in the Finnish Institute of Occupational Health, and she has nearly 20 years of research and development experience in the field of safety and organizational learning. She has actively developed the Finnish Vision Zero Forum since its foundation in 2003. The Finnish Vision Zero Forum is a national network of workplaces which are committed to continuous improvement of safety, health, and well-being at work. Within the Finnish Vision Zero Forum, she has developed a network-level learning strategies and practices, and she is currently a member of task group of Vision Zero at the enterprise level in the Global Coalition of Occupational Safety and Health at Work. And next, we will hear Ms. Ruotsala's session overview on building OSH capacity through higher education, online learning, and credentialing. Riikka, floor is yours.
Thank you. Are you seeing and hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Dear participants, my name is Riikka Ruotsala, and as a co-chair of the session, I have the honor to introduce you to the session Building OSH Capacity Through Higher Education, Online Learning and Credentialing. The session is co-hosted by two chairs, Dr. Tomio Alanko, our moderator today. He is the director of Finnish director from the Finnish Institute of Occupational Health. And then we have Professor Thomas Fuller, who is president of International Occupational Hygiene Association, IOHA. So as we have heard today, the core of the Vision Zero is to promote safety, health, and well-being at work. We have heard today interesting and important aspects to Vision Zero. So this session will provide one more horizontal perspective, namely learning and training. We believe that learning is one of the key elements in realizing Vision Zero in practice. This interest has been the starting point in planning and putting this session together. We wanted to gather speakers around the world together and hear about successful strategies and practices in relation to OSH capacity. We believe that effective OSH training and meaningful learning practices can have a huge impact on preventing accidents and promoting safety, health, and well-being in general. Raising awareness and building OS capacity are vital in today's changing world of work. By promoting learning and training, we can save lives and develop decent work further. However, there are many questions to be resolved in the light of building OS capacity. First, we have plenty of information about OS available, and every day we learn more. The question is more how we utilize this information. How do we disseminate this information to the right place in right time? Due to recent technological advances, we are connected to each other better than ever. So there are effective means and methods to share information and to learn together, generate something new, generate new knowledge. On the other hand, there are new concerns, new OS risks arise. Also in the changing world of work, work is increasingly performed in fragmented networks and in the global supply chains. In this sense, it's getting more and more complicated to manage OS and to promote safety, health and well-being. So our session reflects the existing and future challenges as well as possibilities for raising awareness, developing training and learning in a global scale. The possibilities include, for example, new technological means and methods through which we can support effective and meaningful ways to learn. Training and learning need functioning tools, whether training takes place in a traditional setting or via digital means like today. Our session will pay a special attention to these new means, which have been successfully applied in building OS capacities. So we will hear project examples from this perspective. Next, I will briefly introduce you the speakers of the session. First, we approach building OS capacity from the global level. So first we have Mr. Thomas Fuller, who will give us an overview of collaborative international education, training and credentialing projects to build global OS capacity. So he will give us a framework to build more and learn more about this topic. Another perspective is provided by Mr. Helmut Enes, who we already heard today, as he presented the Vision Zero proactive leading indicators. In our session, he presents Vision Zero competence development model and its components. Then we have Marianne Levitsky, who tells us about global collaboration for occupational health and safety education, especially from the perspective and the roles about volunteers and NGOs. So that will be really interesting aspect to hear and learn more about. Then we have Mrs. Chris Latz-Davis, who gives us an example on building global OS capacity through grassroots collaboration. So we will hear the lessons learned from the practical point of view as well. And then Mr. Philip Hibbs presents the IOHA National Accreditation Recognition Scheme with perspective on reducing the global burden of occupational disease. And still, from the global point of view, we have Mrs. Ulrike Pollmann, who gives a presentation on integrating the UN Sustainable Development Goals into education system, highlighting especially the opportunities and constraints for implementing SDG 8 in higher education. That will be also very topical presentation. In addition to this global view, the session also views national and sectoral examples on building OS capacity. The session zooms to company practices and business cases as well. In this perspective, first, Mr. Toshihiro Fujita will give us a presentation regarding the implementation of the e-learning and qualification system for the top management. And he will give the results in more than 40 Japanese companies. And more from Japan, we will hear Mrs. Saori Taketa's presentation about structuring of knowledge management for industrial safety. In addition to this interesting presentation, we will have 3 examples from the companies, and they include Mr. Kevin Pulatek from Omron USA, who talks about standard and evolving approaches to OS training at Omron. We will also hear Mr. Albert Giovan from Pirelli talking us about HSE training strategy in a changing world. We will also hear a company case covering virtual reality training from Norway. So these will be topics and presentation about those new means and methods to support and facilitate training. Lastly, the session reflects on the impact of training in educational and work contexts by asking what works and why. This impact and effectiveness aspect is something that we think we should focus more in the future as well. So in brief, this was the key messages from our session. We hope this introduction gave you an insight on the coming event and the session. And finally, the key message is that Vision Zero is about learning together. So we really hope to continue to discuss this important topic with you in the next Vision Zero Summit in Japan. So until next May, and I hope to hear and see you there. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Ruotsala. That was very interesting and important topic, building OS capacity. But now it's my pleasure to introduce the next speaker, Mr. Toshioki Kasia. He is a member of International Electronic Commission Conformity Assessment Council Board, and he is contributing to the creation of international system to support the smooth global development of Japanese industry. In 2019, he received Prime Minister's Award in the Industrial Standardization Project Awards. He serves as a member of Japanese delegation to the International Electrotechnical Commission. He also became the first chairman of the Conformity Assessment System Committee of Japan Electronics and Information Technology Industries Association in 2001 and the chairman of the IECEE National Advisory Committee in 2005. The improvement and optimization of quality, cost, and speed certification of certification body certificates is a major achievement of Mr. Kasia. And next we will hear Mr. Kasia's session overview on international standardization for safety, health, and well-being. The floor is yours, Mr. Kasia.
Hello, everyone. I'm Toshioki Kasia, Director of the Institute of Global Safety Promotion, IGSAP in short. I'm assigned as Chair of Session I of Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022. Let me just briefly introduce my session's content, including candidate speakers. Topic of the session I is international standardization for safety, health, and well-being. As all of you know, the information and communication technology and IoT and artificial intelligence, all these are the current technology influencing on to the current working environment. And UN SDGs, the looking at the human-centered society. So how the occupational safe and the health in future will and look at the have been described in the IEC MSB white paper named Safety in the Future, which was published the last November under the IEC communities. So we are focusing on international standardization for the future safety. Let me say the modern safety, the ultimately to the well-being. Our session's objectives, there are three main points. First one is to learn that the safety in the future will need a holistic approach, not only looking at the technology aspect, but human and the management aspect in the standardization work. Second point is to seek the possibility of more efficient way for standardization by closer collaboration of ISO and IEC, and also relevant external bodies to achieve a common goal. The last but not least, to have a common understanding that the international standardization can ultimately contribute to realize safety, health, and well-being for the people on a global basis. This slide shows the 14 experts from several sectors, and we are very much looking for how the international standardization work can or should work in the future based on these people's presentations. Let me tell you a little bit in more details in the next slide. Since the IEC white paper, Safety in the Future, was published under the responsibility of the IEC Market Strategy Board, MSB. So I invited Dr. Kazuhiko Tsutsumi, who is the chair of MSB, to make a brief presentation about what's and for what purposes this white paper was published. And the second one is the IEC Vice President and the Standardization Management Board Chair, Dr. Ralph Sporer. This is the technical standardization sectors. And another one is also IEC Vice President and the Conformity Assessment Board Chair, Mr. Sean Paulson, who is responsible for the conformity assessment systems activities under the name of IEC. And also I called the ISO side and Mr. Mitsuo Matsumoto, who is the ISO Vice President, and also Miss Azusa Nakagawa, who is working in JSA, Japan Standards Association. She is very well knowledgeable about ISO CASCO standard aspect. And also quite new aspect is the speakers, Miss Norma McCormick. She is involved in psychological health for the working people. This is quite a new aspect, and I hope this presentation will be also very much interesting. And other than this, I called two other gentlemen. One is Dr. Dietmar Reinhardt. I asked him to make a presentation about the expectation to a standard developing organization on occupational health and safety, the leading to safety, health, and well-being. The other person is Professor Dr. Akira Izumi, who was working in METI for many years, and he is a top person to study and research on importance of rule-making policies and the value of standardization in general. So I think all these presentations should be very much interesting for all the people. Next two slides shows the proposed topic a little bit more in detail of a presentation. So starting from Dr. Dietmar Reinhardt, he makes some keynote presentations, and following Dr. Kazuhiko Tsutsumi, and then standardization, technical standardization aspect, Ralph Sporer. And under this technical standardization aspects, I asked the other experts in different sectors of IEC. And also from ISO and the conformity assessments aspects. As you can see, the standards and the conformity assessment is both sides of the coin. So we need to look at both sides of technical standards and conformity assessments. So you can just see the topics which they are presenting in our session. So although this is a quite brief introduction, but I hope that all of you understand the importance of standardizations, and we are very much looking forward to welcoming you at the session I of upcoming Vision Zero Summit Japan. See you on next May. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kasia, for a very interesting presentation on international standardization for us. And for the next speaker, it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Magdalena Wachickiewicz. She is a Vice President of the Agricultural Social Insurance Fund in Poland and serves as a Secretary General of the international section of the ISSA on prevention in agriculture. She is currently responsible for the areas of communications, international relations, rehabilitation, IT, and statistics. Prior to taking office, she served as a Director of Communication and International Cooperation Officer at the Agricultural Social Insurance Fund. She has got over 15 years of experience in banking with demonstrated experience in agricultural financing. And next, we will hear Ms. Wachickiewicz' session overview on agriculture and Agri-OS culture. The floor is yours.
Dear delegates for the World Congress on Safety and Health at Work 2021. My name is Magdalena Wachickiewicz, and I have a pleasure to be the chair of the session devoted to occupational safety and health in agriculture during the Vision Zero Summit 2022 in Japan. Our session was structured in 3 parts, corresponding to the 3 pillars of Vision Zero: safety, health, and well-being. I have been thinking what I would like to be told myself to be encouraged enough to join our session next year devoted to safety in agriculture. Shall I be a farmer or somebody who deals with farming? Is it enough? I've recently had a serious car accident, and I realized how important it is to feel safe and to build safety awareness. I've been analyzing this situation from the point of view of the 7 golden rules of Vision Zero. Was I aware enough of the safety? Enough involved to ensure my safety? Did I identify all possible risks that caused the accident? Could I avoid it? Did I use all possible tools to avoid it? Was it a problem related to the car itself, equipment? Could I foresee this? And what did I learn from it? What is the lesson for me for the future? Vision Zero's 7 golden rules, which enable implementation of 3 pillars of Vision Zero, are amazing, simple, and comprehensive at the same time, and applicable to all work environments, including agriculture. As you probably know, agriculture as a sector of economy has one of the highest records of fatal accidents and injuries at work. People working in agriculture face many types of occupational hazards and are exposed to various types of occupational risks. This makes the building of agri-OSH culture so important, but at the same time very challenging. As a qualified farmer and at the same time as Secretary General of the International Section of the ISA on Prevention in Agriculture, I'm fully convinced that everyone involved in agriculture business should be concerned with the OSH issues in agriculture, and at the same time, everyone who is interested in being provided with the good quality food and in environmental needs. Without farming, our food security would disappear, and actually the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the importance of agriculture and reliable food supply chains. On the other hand, the safe work of farmer is not only important for farmer, but has a significant impact on the natural environment and the quality of produce in the end. That is why we will discuss this aspect during our session. Also during our session, we would like to get closer to discovering the paradise of innovative technologies that can be used for prevention. New technologies play a very important part in making farmers' work easier, safer, and in helping to protect farmers' health. We also see how the digital progress is transforming modern agriculture into smart agriculture and how this can help to achieve Vision Zero goals. In the process of human development, we shouldn't, however, forget well-being. We will talk about the mounting pressure that farmers encounter in their work, which is related to economic, environmental, and social aspects. In the context of agriculture and farmers' well-being, we should raise a question about the mental health of farmers, their mental well-being, and why in highly developed countries in Europe, North America, and Asia, some farmers commit suicides. We also need to make real efforts to prevent such a phenomenon, not to stand aside and be frightened to tackle this sensitive problem. That is why I strongly invite you all to join us for the Agri-OSH Culture session and learn about building the culture of work prevention in agriculture. We have gathered Renowned OSH experts and researchers, as well as practitioners from different continents, North America, Europe, and Asia, who will talk about the latest OSH findings, inventions, and methods used in agriculture. Join us for the Vision Zero Summit 2022 and learn how Vision Zero strategically applied in agriculture to protect lives of farmers. Let's build the agri-OSH culture together.
Thank you, Ms. Vahinika-Vice. This was really inspiring and thought-provoking speech, and I'm sure that we all are waiting for the session in the Vision Zero Summit. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the last speaker of the day. Dr. Mohammed Asman is the CEO and the Director General of the Social Security Organization of Malaysia. A medical doctor by profession, he is instrumental in numerous innovations and initiatives to enhance Social Security Organization's commitment to social security protection, including occupational safety and health, employee health promotion, accident prevention, disability management, and so on. Dr. Mohammed Asman spearheaded the Social Security Organization's transformation to the country's outstanding social security provider. Under his leadership, social safety net now covers a larger section of population, including the self-employed, workers with loss of employment, and foreign workers. Dr. Asman plays a central role in various social security organizations' initiatives that have gained international and local recognitions. Besides key responsibilities in the International Social Security Association, he also sits in the Vision Zero Global Alliance Council. And next, we will hear Dr. Asman's session overview on national strategy to promote Vision Zero. Floor is yours.
Thank you, moderator, for the kind introduction. Mr. Hans-Horst Konkolowski, President, International ORP Foundation, esteemed guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, and not forgetting the organizing team for bringing us together today. Good day, everyone. First of all, I'm certainly looking forward to the coming Vision Zero Summit in Japan next year. We have so far heard about all the sessions lined up for the conference. I would like to also take this opportunity to introduce the session that I will be chairing during the conference. The team had been working hard to put up a very respectable lineup of speakers, and I'm sure that you will also be as excited as I am for this session. But let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Mohammed Asman, the Chief Executive Officer of the Social Security Organization, Malaysia. During the Vision Zero Summit next year, I'll be chairing the session on national strategies and programs to promote Vision Zero. Why national strategies? In 2017, the global launch of Vision Zero by the International Social Security Association, ISA, took place at the 21st World Congress on Safety and Health at Work in Singapore. It was met with great enthusiasm, and quickly the Vision Zero caught on like wildfire across the globe. Tens of thousands of companies registered as Vision Zero companies and Vision Zero partners. There are also national bodies that took up the Vision Zero movement and made it a national agenda or a national strategy. These national strategies had helped drive the participation of more companies into Vision Zero. What are these strategies? Are there any specific programs? Are there any challenges? And how was it dealt with? This is why during the Vision Zero Summit in 2022, there will be a dedicated session to discuss the national strategies and programs to promote Vision Zero. The Vision Zero mindset that all accidents, diseases, and harms at workplace can be prevented has been shared by a large number of companies and partner organizations, including governments and social security institutions. And the number is still growing. Their active role in promoting Vision Zero at the national level is critical in achieving the objective of the global campaign and supporting the development of a prevention culture based on Vision Zero. During this session, senior representatives from the government ministries, workers' compensation bodies, and social security organizations will present their Vision Zero strategies and programs and share valuable experiences in executing successful campaign of Vision Zero in their respective countries. Reflecting the diverse national context, different approaches have been adopted, ranging from a focus on zero accidents or incorporating Vision Zero as part of a broader prevention campaign to developing a new national prevention strategy dedicated to promoting Vision Zero. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have assembled a superb lineup of distinguished speakers for this session, each representing government agencies of their respective countries who will talk from the health and safety and also social security points of view. You may have known some of them as they are opinion leaders in the international field of safety and health. I'm sure delegates and participants of the Vision Zero Summit 2022 will be enlightened with the presentation from these 12 speakers who come from Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Let me introduce them to you. They are Katsuchi Taki from JISHA of Japan, Ho Seong-hin from the Ministry of Manpower Singapore, Bonnie Yao from the Occupational Safety and Health Council, Hong Kong, Stephen Jose from the German Social Accident Insurance DGUV, Germany, Alexei Polikashin from the Social Insurance Fund of the Russian Federation, Antti Koivula from the Finnish Institute of Occupational Health, Finland, Dennis Chal Kwasi from the National Social Security Fund of Ivory Coast, Patrick Ossi-Okori from the National Social Security Fund of Gabon, Kevin Moni from the Saskatchewan Workers' Compensation Board, Canada, Filipe Ekanik from the Mutual de Seguridad, Chile, Azlan Darus from the Social Security Organization, Malaysia, and last but not least, Anik Sanin from the Accident Insurance Association of Luxembourg. Each speaker will outline the strategies adopted in their respective countries and how they integrate the principles of Vision Zero into the prevention programs. The speakers will also share their experiences in promoting Vision Zero concept and the challenges they face in convincing the stakeholders on the benefits and advantages of Vision Zero. This will not only deepen the understanding of Vision Zero among the participants, but will allow them to acquire the essential elements that can facilitate the adoption of Vision Zero in their countries and organizations. At the same time, it will save precious time and resources when you utilize the proven strategies as presented by the speakers. You can customize and tailor-make the strategies and approaches to suit the agenda of your respective organization or countries. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely invite all of you to join us at the Vision Zero Summit 2022. Let us take the opportunity to refresh our commitment to safety and health and enhance our understanding of Vision Zero. Hopefully, it will benefit the practice of Vision Zero in your respective countries and organizations, especially in safeguarding the well-being of our workers. So please mark your calendars and save the date. I will meet you again at the Vision Zero Summit Japan 2022. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, Dr. Asman, for this interesting session overview. And what an important topic. National strategies are really a key for successful implementation of Vision Zero. And I'm sure that all of us are waiting for this session next year. Now we are at the end of our event, and I would like to thank all of the speakers, participants, and organizers for making this very interesting event a success. As we have heard in all of these presentations, the next Vision Zero Summit in Japan in 2022 will be a very interesting event and have a really high quality program. Collaboration is the key element of Vision Zero. It is needed on all levels, whether it be on workplace activities between enterprises or cooperation with globally operating organizations. Safety, health, and well-being is not a business secret. Instead, its value and effectiveness only increases in collaboration and activities. The Vision Zero Summit in Japan provides a very important platform for all to advance occupational safety, health and well-being together. It is an event where you can learn and connect with the latest knowledge on implementing the Vision Zero strategies to workplaces. I hope to see you all at the next Vision Zero Summit in Japan on next spring. Until then, thank you and goodbye.